Yo, what is going on everyone? Guiding Light here, and in this one, I'm going to be bringing you guys an overview of the Wave of Light Scout Rifle. Now, this is an ultimate weapon, which you can only receive through crafting. What you'll have to do, though, is actually go out and get all of these individual parts in order to unlock it. Now, I'm going to show you guys exactly how I ended up getting it. It's actually not that long of a process, and you will get quite a few other resources while doing it. Now, the first mission you'll have to do is this hard mode version of the Unknown Laboratory. You're going to have to run this a few times to get this amorphous material, and you'll then need to take it into the boss fight until you get that drop. Now for the second part, it's pretty much the same process, but it's going to be a different boss. This time you're going to want to take down the Executioner, which will have you guys running this mission here, the Vespers mission. You will have to run that a few times to get those amorphous material, then take it into the boss the same way in order to get all of these parts. Now for the third part here, the nanotube, you're going to have to do the pyro. I actually ended up getting this material though instead in the fortress. Now this is going to require a defense mission. Those can take a bit of time, so it's definitely the hardest part to get. Now finally, you're also going to have to get the blueprint. This actually has like a 30% drop rate though, so it didn't take that long, and ended up getting it from the hard mode devourer. All you have to do though for that is run this mission here until you get enough amorphous material. Now very quickly guys, let's go into this weapon. You can figure out whether or not it's really worth the grind for you or not. Now overall, I think it does really good damage. It's pretty good at taking out the damage very quickly, but a lot of weapons are pretty good at taking out enemies. What we're going to be talking about today, though, is the ultimate perk. All the ultimate weapons, they have special perks on them, and that's what sets them apart from the rest of the guns in the game. Another thing to keep in mind with these ultimate weapons is that you actually do want to try and craft multiple versions of the weapon. The reason for this is because each time you do, that unique perk that the weapon has will become more and more powerful each time you craft the weapon. So in time, once you have 3 or 4 of these weapons built, they will be considerably stronger than the base version. So keep that in mind, guys. This is only really the base version of the weapon. And as the game continues, as I craft more of these, the weapon will get stronger. And also my mods will continue to get stronger as well. So this is really just the base version of this weapon. And you will 100% get stronger and stronger as you continue to use this weapon. Now, the first thing you'll want to do if you end up crafting this or any ultimate is go ahead and upgrade it. It will drop at level 1, and you'll notice it has almost no DPS. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take it to the weapon transmission. We're going to get it to level 100 and see what the base DPS of this weapon will be once we get it up. So we'll take one of our extra weapons, put it up to 100. And as you can see, now the DPS is at about an 88k base. From there, we're going to go and readjust the rolls on it. It's going to come with basic stock perks. You're going to want to re-roll this a few times until you get something better. Now, I didn't want to waste too many materials. I want to make sure I stock up some more before really re-rolling for something perfect. Also, I want to test it out a bit before really dumping a bunch of materials into this. So we're only going to re-roll it a few times. You'll notice I get a few gold rolls. Those are the ones you really want to be on the lookout for. Ended up getting the base DPS to 110,000. Really not too bad at all. From there, we're going to go ahead and equip some mods. For now, we're just going to do the recommended, get the base stats for it. We're not going to go too crazy. 155k DPS there on the far left side. Here's a quick look at some of the mods I've put on, and we're just going to simply go and test out the base. Now, there's really not too much more we can do to increase the ATK on this weapon. We've already pretty much done the most we can, so we'll leave it like this for now, and we can get a pretty good representation of what this weapon will do. Now let's take a quick look at the unique perk. That's what we're really going to be testing out here, whether or not it's even really worth it to run this weapon due to its unique perk. So if you come in here, inspect the weapon, you can take a quick look at the unique perk. So it says after reloading, grants the unique ability called Solar Halo. What Solar Halo will do is it actually increases your firearm critical hit rate. It reduces your recoil. After that, it says on hitting an enemy with Solar Halo, it inflicts Lunar Halo. What Lunar Halo does is it weakens the regeneration of the target by 50%. So this is actually a pretty big deal when going up against higher level enemies, or especially enemies that have very large shields. What it's going to do is it's going to prevent the enemy from regenerating health. It's going to reduce that rate at 50%. So what this weapon will be best at is going up against very high level enemies, which you know have very strong shields, especially those higher level end game bosses. What this weapon will do is it'll actually prevent the enemies from regenerating their shield as quickly. So what you can do is you can tag the enemies with this weapon very quickly, know that they're not going to be able to regenerate as fast, and then you can switch to other weapons to take them down, or just simply keep using the scout. So very quickly, we'll take it into a few missions here. I'll show you guys what it's best at. So here's an elite enemy. You'll notice it has a shield above it, and we're going to take out the scout. Now you'll notice here, as soon as I shoot him after reloading, there's a buff that pops up below his screen or below his health bar. What that is that's that halo buff kicking in. You'll know that it's in effect every time that that icon pops up. You'll know that your buff has taken effect. Now you're not going to notice it too crazy of a difference. As you can see, we're in a hard level mission, but even still, this enemy is still pretty easy to take down with the base level weapons I have. But it is good to note that this is where this perk will come in handy. Is when you're going up against these higher level enemies, they have a lot of health, and this will stop them from regenerating. Now, as of right now, I'm still pretty strong to the point where this perk is not necessary to really take down any of these enemies. But in the future, when they finally release dungeons and higher level enemies, this perk will definitely come in handy because you'll be stopping a lot of these enemies from regenerating their health. Now, if I really wanted to, I could obviously take this guy out very quickly, but I want to demonstrate how this perk works and show that every time it activates, you can actually see that buff popping up above the enemy's head, and so you do know when it's active. So overall, I would say that this is actually a really great weapon, and it's worth getting. I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to go get it. It's not going to be something that changes your entire gameplay where, oh my gosh, I got the scout. I can take on any boss. I can just take on any mission now. It's not that incredible, but I would definitely make sure to grab this gun as soon as possible because you never know when they might release a mission where the enemies have such high health regen, or maybe we're just so underleveled due to the difficulty, where this weapon could come in handy. It really is a special use scenario kind of weapon where you're going to only really see the majority of its benefits when going up against an enemy that's so powerful that you need to stop their health regeneration in order to take them down. Other than that, it's still a great weapon, great fire rate, great accuracy. Really love the sight on it, especially compared to other scouts. So if I had this weapon, and I could still see running it in almost every mission, but to be fair, due to the length of time it takes to get, you'll be able to make other scout rifles much more powerful than this, much faster. So there's better things to grind for early on. But if we're talking end game or just trying to get ready for things that may launch in the future, you will definitely want to pick this up. So hopefully this review helps you guys out, shows whether or not just how much you really want to go for it, and also it explains how that perk works. So that's pretty much it for this one. Hopefully it helps, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.